everyone, it's Michele from Scrap Secrets and welcome to the Till Death Do Us Craft Halloween series. I'll talk a little bit more about this series as we go along. It's also going to be part of my Halloween card series. There's going to be cards every single day from different crafters, so I'll talk a little bit about that as we get through it. This is the card that we're going to be making using only stencils and distress ink and oxide. So this is completely different for me, no stamping, but it's an easy card to do. So this is the HoneyBee stencil, the first one that you saw, and then this one is a Sassy and Crafty stencil. I will have them all linked below in the more information section. I took that pixie spray that you saw earlier, put it on the back of this oval shape, and this is going to be our moon. I am going to tape it down to the work surface, and then you'll see in a minute I move it. And we're going to ink it up with 3 different colors of distress oxide. The first is chipped sapphire, then we're going to use seedless preserves, and then we are also going to be using in a little bit blueprint sketch, and that's distress ink, and that comes in a little bit later. So you're just going to start off blending off of that oval and getting the chipped sapphire down, and then I will put the layer of seedless preserves on. So while you're watching me ink blend, I thought I would talk to you guys a little bit about this series. So there are 7 crafters that are participating. The hashtag in the description, you can click on that and you'll find all of our videos. There is 1 person posting per day. My day is Sunday. I will have the list of people and their YouTube video channels in the more description box. So every day you'll know who you're going to be checking out. You can also use that hashtag to direct you to everybody's videos that's participating in this. So this is different. Everybody is going to post on October 1st. So this is the first. And then everyone will post on October 31st. And then you will post on your given day. So mine will, like I said, mine will be Sundays. So this is a different kind of hop than I've ever been part of. I'm super excited about this. Oh, I'm going to get back to talking about the card. Now this, we are going to be using stencils, like I said, from 3 different companies. HoneyBee Stamps, Sassy and Crafty, and Create and Inkspire. I wasn't thinking when I was doing this background, I thought that I was just going to do the tombstones right on the scene, but it turns out I needed to use a 3rd company stencil. So this is great to know that you can make a scene with different stencils from different companies, so you really can stretch your supplies using mixing and matching things. That's what I love to do, is to find different companies that have products either in a similar theme or that I can use together. I love when I can mix and match things from different companies, and I think that actually may be a series in the future, is doing maybe some mixing and matching, so I can do a card with multiple manufacturers on it, or retailers. So you'll see that I was pointing to that brush because I got a little bit of blue on it, but it's fine, I'll undo it. So this is the Sassy and Crafty stencil. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but again, it will be linked below in the more information section, so be sure to check it out because they have some amazing products. All 3 companies have amazing products. I love using their things, and I have a lot of them. So now we're going to be using Distress Oxide in Black Soot, and I'm inking up another one of my Cottontail brushes. These brushes are from the Rabbit Hole Designs, which is another fantastic company. They have some really cute things, and you will be seeing some more products from them in this video series. I just masked off a couple of the bats because I didn't want them too far outside of the moon. I wanted them pretty much to be in the moon as a focal point for that. But you'll notice in a little while I go in and add another one. And that one at the kind of like the bottom right, I will ink that up because after I move the stencil, I realized a little bit of black somehow got onto him. So there you go, I'm inking him up. And that's it. I'm going to peel this back, and I love when you do ink blending, especially over when you've masked and you see that final product. Look at how cool that looks. I love it. So I'm just making sure I'm happy with it, and then I'm going to take the stencil off and I'm going to wipe off my surface because I don't want to get anything on areas of the card that I don't need it on. So here's when I decide, okay, I need to bring in a grass stencil. So I had this stencil lying around. This is from Create and Inkspire, and it has grass on one side and the top side are clouds. And I'm using some Lucky Clover, another Cottontail brush to ink up the back. The great part about oxides is that they kind of sit on top of each other, so you can see that, but then it almost has like depth and dimension to it because you can kind of almost see the color underneath of it, so that covers pretty nicely. So I just wanted that layer down, and now we're going to go back in with some smaller brushes. These are the makeup brushes from Amazon, and use the bottom of the stencil to do some tombstones. So I brought in a couple of colors here. So the first two that I am using are Hickory Smoke, and then I'm going to do some more of that. That's Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide, as well as that Black Soot Distress Oxide. And again, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I think the grass was still a little wet, that little green grass, and I think I pulled that color up a little bit. So you might want to not be impatient like me and wait for it to dry, or you could just do what I did. You can't really see in the final product, but I know. And then I was having a hard time. So off to the left I did the mirror. I used that mirror app, I think it's the Apex Power App or something. I'll put that in the more information section. And I was trying to figure out which way to shift the paper, and it was opposite of the way I was supposed to shift it. So everything was backwards. So I was so confused because I'm looking at the monitor and thinking, if I move it to the right, they're going to be able to see it, but that wasn't the case. So anyway, I was just trying to show you guys the tombstone. So now I'm going to ink up another couple. So I was trying not to mess that one up. So I moved all the way to the right-hand side of the paper, and I'm going to be using I used Hickory Smoke on that one. I did pull Distress ink in Weathered Wood, but this is the difference between Distress inks and Distress oxides. The inks don't really show up over other colors. The oxides definitely will. That's why you can ink on black cardstock and it shows up really well. These sit on top, whereas the Distress inks kind of go into the paper. So when you see, I think this, there it is, the Distress ink. This is the Weathered Wood, and I do this one. I believe it was off camera. I went over this one with the Hickory Smoke again because it just didn't turn. The top cross was just so faded and you couldn't really see it. It didn't look right. So I'm doing the tombstone and then I'm putting the cross on top of it. The cross with the little circle around it. I used that. So I wanted to use the pieces associated with it because I think this is such a cool stencil. You can build your own gravesite. This stencil alone you could do an entire background with, but I wanted to incorporate other things other than just the stencil. I wanted to show how you could incorporate multiple retailers, retailers, manufacturers, whatever you want to call them, into one card, different companies. That's probably what I should say. I have work on the brain. I work for a food company and that we have retailers and manufacturers, and that's just, that's where my mind goes because I'm still in work mode. But anyway, you'll see me, instead of waiting for everything to dry like I probably should have, I just continue and pray that I don't get ink everywhere. And knock on wood, I really didn't with this one. I did a pretty good job. So again, we're going to ink up the tombstone, and I think I used some Weathered Wood, but then I went back in with the Hickory Smoke because again, it just wasn't coming out properly. And I wanted to make them crooked because, nothing in a spooky, scary graveyard is straight or lined up or anything like that. So you'll see that my carelessness actually comes in handy, that I don't line anything up straight. This one, it actually looks good when you do that. So I wanted to have ones kind of in the front, ones that looked like they were a little bit further behind. So, and then you can also extend these tombstones if that is too small for your scene. You can actually just move the stencil down, which is what I did here with this one. I moved it down and then just continued to ink up the bottom so it looks like the headstone is larger than it really is. And then I wanted to try to go in with a little bit of shadowing, and it actually worked. Just pounced my makeup brush in that black soot. And then when it dries, it actually looks really nice in the final picture. I'm actually sitting here looking at it. I wanted to add the cross to that last one, and I had a heck of a time trying to keep these stencils and keep my work surface clean because of that pristine moon. I wanted to make sure that it still stayed nice and white. So you're going to see me going back over that. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this series. It's going to be a lot of fun for us creators. Like I said, we each have a day that we're going to be doing stuff. So you're going to see all kinds of techniques and projects. I can't wait to see what everybody else along the series makes. Can't wait to watch a video every day, and this way it's not super long for you guys. It's only one video each day, but you'll have something new for Halloween each day. Now I am taking these are the Prismacolor Premier markers, and I ended up, the first one that I did was 005, and it was too thin, so then I went back over it with the Prismacolor C, which is the chisel marker, and just wrote RIP. And then on the other one, the kind of crooked one, I wrote Here Lies, just like the tombstone was continuing. You just couldn't see what it was. I didn't put writing on any of the other ones because I couldn't think of anything to put on them. So I probably could have Googled it, but my iPad was busy being my monitor, and then my phone, I was recording on it. So just kind of gave up. I couldn't think, it looked too plain on the top left corner. So I thought, let me just put that large bat on the top. So I just mask off with some washi tape the other ones, and then just take that small makeup brush to put him on there. And I think that just filled in the space nicely because it was too blank. I have a hard time with clean and simple cards, obviously, because I feel like I have to have something in every corner. But I also thought that it was unbalanced until that bat went into place. The next thing I'm going to do is take the Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen and go around the bats. Just be very careful when you're doing this because I wanted to keep the moon white. If you touch the bats, it will reactivate the Distress Oxide and you'll start to pull that color out. I did it in a couple areas, but it doesn't, I can tell. I don't know if anybody else would, but I just wanted a little bit of sparkle and shine to the moon. You can see it in real life. I don't think you can see it in the pictures or on the video, but it just gives a little bit of sparkle to it. And I thought that it was just that finishing touch that added, just that little something to finish the card off. So I'm just going to go over that and make sure that I didn't miss any spots. It's a little hard to see unless you keep tilting it, but then I'm showing you guys there. I don't think you can really see. I don't think you can really see the sparkle, but there's just one little spot that I got a little bit of the oxide in. Then I'm just going to take my ATG gun and put the glue on the back, the tape on the back of the front of the card, and then put the card down because I thought it was still a little wet. It's the same size as the card front, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that's the card. I left the inside blank because I wanted this to be an entire card made from stencils. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. And look for everybody's videos along this hop for the entire month. Bye!